Thank you, Mary. Well, the pet you choose can say a whole lot about yourself, including the type of person really that you pick to date or maybe even marry. So says relationship expert Kimberly Moffit, who's joining us from Toronto this morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
You are very welcome. This is so fascinating. Deborah, who I'm going to call over in just a second, and I have been just quizzing her left and right. This study that you're talking about was mostly done on dogs and cats.
That's
correct?
right. People who owned dogs and cats. So what the study showed was that the type of pet that you love or had actually indicated some of your dating behaviors and how you were in a long-term relationship.
Okay, so if you have a dog, what does that say about you?
So people who owned dogs were more likely to spend more money on the first date and were also more likely to have a one-night stand
Wow.
than people who owned cats.
And you said to drink more.
Yes, to drink more on the first, and also to drink more on the first date. So a little bit more, I guess, spur of the moment and excited and eager to please and all of that. So,
but if you owned a cat, what was your dating tendency?
So if you can imagine a cat's relationship with their owner, it's a very independent one. Cats are a little bit more standoffish and they are a little bit more slow to warm up. So cat lovers actually were more like that in their relationships. They were the least likely to reach out to somebody after a first date. They waited for the other person to reach out to them, and they were also the least likely to spend money on a first date.
You're a little more stingy. Deborah Weiner, come over here. What do you think about all this?
Well, what about the type of the type of dog you have? Like,
yeah,
for example, if you have like a mutt or you have two little yippy chihuahuas.
You know what? The study actually didn't
break
focus
it down
on what type of pet, but I wish it did, because I do think that there's a real relationship when it comes to you and your pet, and so many people out there can relate to this, that I think you have to have a very complementary relationship with your pet. And so you notice that this relationship goes so much deeper than just a caregiver. It's really a lifelong companion and someone that you're spending a lot of time with.
For sure. Now, what if you don't like animals and you don't have a pet?
Right. So these people are actually, if you think of someone who doesn't want to have a pet or doesn't like pets, they usually like to have full control over their life. They like to pick up and leave whenever they want to, and you know, maybe they're not as kind of loving in that relationship, right? So people who didn't like pets at all were the least likely to drink on a first date, and were also the least likely to have a one-night stand. Two situations where people would lose control or have less, I guess, inhibitions.
Did this study say anything about whether pet lovers and non-pet lovers could ever be compatible?
That's what I was wondering.
Well, statistically, people who have pets are more likely to be better in a long-term relationship, obviously because of the long-term commitment and putting someone else before yourself. But my opinion on this is that we can all get along, because just because somebody doesn't have a pet and you do, it doesn't mean you can't be in a long-term relationship. Obviously, the world would be a boring place if we just did the same thing as our partners. So we have to learn a little bit from each other.
So true. Well, enjoy your stay here in Baltimore, here with your husband, a little mini vacation without the new baby.
Yes.
So enjoy.
He's a great talker. We'll be chatting about this all day.
This is very popular in Canada, too. All right. Well, thank you so much. Stay with us. The SPCA joining us next with a pet that's looking for a good home.